Hello, welcome to my channel and welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. Today we are going to kind of walk through the years and look at the Christmas traditions that I used to have as a kid, what we still do of those traditions this year, and kind of what we've ditched. So let's get into it. So excuse the lighting, excuse a lot of stuff. This is the first time I'm like really using my new camera. If you have not seen that video, I'll link it up above. I still have no words. But this is the first time I've really sat down and used the new camera. It is also 5 o'clock in the morning because I needed a video for this afternoon. So, duty calls. But it's early, so the lighting may be bad. It looks great right here, but when I put it into an editor, it may not. I don't know. We'll see. But there is that. So I just kind of wanted to walk through the traditions that I grew up with. Christmas has always been super special to me for many reasons. One being that I am a Christian and I'm celebrating the birth of Jesus. And so that is just like one thing, and everything else is like the cherry on top. I feel like growing up, I had very, very magical Christmases. My mom and dad both worked very, very hard to give us, you know, anything that we could ever want. And so my dad did a lot, but I specifically remember a lot of magic and the specialness of Christmas being cultivated by my mom. And I think maybe because she was a stay-at-home mom for such a long time. She was a stay-at-home mom until I was 11, and then she went to nursing school and she became a nurse. So my dad worked. My dad has always worked very, very hard. So I think maybe that's what it is. But my mom she had a lot of traditions for us, which I loved. So I have a little list that I need to pull back up. I kind of surveyed the family and asked about traditions that they kind of remember, their favorite traditions. And so let's get into it. I want to do like from the top. That doesn't make sense, but kind of from the top of Christmas to the bottom. But I think I'm just going to kind of go at random from whatever list and kind of explain. But I love Christmas. It is so special. I think now that I'm older and I don't have my mom to cultivate the magic of Christmas, it's a little different. But I've heard that when you have your own kids that the magic comes back. So I mean, it is what it is. That's not what Christmas is about, but I always like ache and miss that nostalgia of Christmas. Like, we always had fun Christmas parties at school where we watched the Polar Express and we had treats and we would exchange candy and gifts and color and watch movies and do these fun like little puzzles. We had a teacher in 3rd grade. He would give us these sheets that had like grids on them and then instructions on the side, and you would color in what the instructions said and it would like create this picture. And so it was just, the teachers did a great job of like making Christmas time so special. We probably terrorized them because we were hopped up on candy and sugar and just, we were so hyper, but that was super special. So I'll just start at the top of the list. We always, up until I think maybe last year, decorated cookies together. So my mom's grandmother, I think it's my mom's grandmother, always made sugar cookie dough, homemade sugar cookie dough, and they would get together and she would cut them out into like cute little Christmas shapes, and then they would decorate them with icing. And so my mom brought along that tradition for us, and she stopped 5 or 6 years ago, like home making the dough and then using just like the tube because they didn't expand as much. And so that we normally just decorated blobs because the homemade dough just expanded so much. But we always decorated cookies. Last year we had a big work project and weren't able to. And so now, with everybody having different jobs and different hours at work, we're not able to do that anymore. So that is one tradition that has not kind of stayed with us, but I'm sure when we all start to have kids, we will bring it back and make the time for it. But that is one of the long traditions we had. Every Christmas Eve, when we were younger, we would be able to open one present before we started Kids Crazy Christmas. So before Kids Crazy Christmas, we would open one gift and it would be a matching set of pajamas. I have pictures, and if this works right, there should be just a little like slideshow of old pictures going, so that's so exciting. But I have pictures from when we were much younger and we all had matching pajamas, and still to this day my mom has bags lined up in front of her TV stand that are all of our matching pajamas. I have no idea what they look like this year, but every year she goes out and buys us matching pajamas and we all wear them on Christmas Eve. So that used to be the one gift we were able to open. Now it's kind of, we are given our pajama bags to wear to my grandmother's on Christmas Eve. We used to dress up to go to Christmas Eve, and that's just too much. So all of the cousins, there's 6 of us, we all decided that we were gonna start getting cozy to come to my grandmother's house. So matching pajamas. I mentioned Kids Crazy Christmas. I think when we were like maybe early teens, maybe a little bit younger, my mom started, and maybe it was my dad, I don't remember how it started. I just remember my mom and dad taking us to Walmart, and we were given a $5 budget per kid. So let's just say we were buying for Dory. I had $5, Blaine had $5, and Kinsley had $5 for Dory. And then it was like that for every single kid. And so we could pull all of our money together and get like a bigger gift, or I could find a $5 item or a few items to amount to $5 and buy that for each sibling. And so my dad would take the one that was being shopped for, and we would sit at the front by the little hair salon in our Walmart and just kind of wait around to be shopped for. And then my mom would wrap all of those gifts, and then we started opening those on Christmas Eve. We revived Kids Crazy at Christmas this year to go get my mom a gift, and so that's one tradition that did not survive getting married and moving out, but we were able to do that this year, and that was just always so much fun. My mom always upped the budget just a little bit so we could get our siblings something that we really wanted, but 9 times out of 10 we would always pull our money together and get like a nicer, bigger gift. But we would just run all over Walmart, and mom would keep everything in a buggy, and so kids, I would try to see what somebody had bought me, everybody else would. It was just so much fun. I don't even know where she came up with that, or my dad. I don't know who came up with it, but that was so much fun. Going back to being a lot younger, we used to have a play at our church, and that is like one of my biggest memories of Christmas, is being in the Christmas play. We would have practice, and I hated the practice, but at the end of the Christmas play, we would be given a gift. Like, we would go back and sit with our families. We would be given a gift that somebody had bought. I think maybe it was like a Secret Santa type situation. I don't really remember. And then Santa would come visit. And then some of the deacons in the church would pass out little goodie bags with apples. The apples were Red Delicious, so I did not like those. They were like, I did not like the texture of them. But then we were given oranges and like a peppermint stick or something. And so when I think back to Christmas, I vividly remember that just being in the play, being so nervous, and then just being with all of my friends. It was so much fun. We no longer go to that church. I'm not a kid. We don't have any kids, so we're not involved in the Christmas play. But that was just such a fun time. And then when we were in the youth, our youth pastor and his wife, they would get us skits, and we would do like these elaborate, super hilarious skits. There's a video on Facebook, which you guys will not see, but of a skit that we did right before we had moved churches. And you can hear my dad. My dad has the most recognizable laugh. It is so loud. We can be in a movie theater and not even know that somebody that knows him is there, and they will know immediately by his laugh. And so you can hear him laughing. And that's just... We did lots of skits and plays, and so that was one of the traditions we did growing up. our Christmas events up until maybe 2 years ago, maybe when I got married, were the exact same schedule. We go and eat dinner at my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve, and I love Christmas Eve at Nanny's. We normally have prime rib, and the kids sit in the breakfast nook. We're outgrowing the breakfast nook quickly because I got married, Blaine got married, my cousin Grace got married, Kinsley's boyfriend comes. We're quickly outgrowing the breakfast nook, but we would always go sit in there and then go into the living room and watch a movie or TV, and then wait for the grown-ups to come into the living room to open gifts, and we would sit and watch Christmas Vacation. I've already mentioned this in a video, so if I'm being monotonous, I'm very sorry. Maybe not monotonous. If I'm being very repetitive, I'm very sorry. But we would always go into the living room and watch Christmas Vacation. And we used to just my grandmother would give us gifts. Now we do White Elephant. We started that last year just because that's a lot easier. My grandmother doesn't even know what to buy for us anymore. And so it's something to kind of keep us occupied, and we get lots of laughs out of it. My brother last year took home a betta fish with a fish tank and food. That is the kind of White Elephant we played. So that is always the same. We would go home, get ready for bed, set out our cookies for Santa, and go to bed. Now we go to my mom's house and we open all of our gifts because we typically on Christmas Day don't go anywhere. Growing up on Christmas Eve into Christmas morning, my parents' house is two levels, 2 stories. And so we used to sleep, my sister and I shared a bedroom downstairs, and then Blaine had a room, and then my mom had Kinsley. And so Kinsley and Blaine shared a room for a little while, and then Dory and I shared a room. And for Christmas one year, our parents had they had finished the bedrooms upstairs, the 2 bedrooms upstairs. And so we were gifted our own rooms upstairs. And so we went from sleeping downstairs on Christmas Eve to sleeping upstairs. And so on Christmas Day, we would go wake up our parents early, and then we would go open gifts and get ready and go to church. We had a church service in the morning, and then we would go to my other grandmother. No, we would eat breakfast at my nanny's, go to church, and then go to my granny's for Christmas Day with my mom's family. And so once we moved upstairs, we didn't have cell phones. We did not get cell phones until we were much older. I think we moved upstairs into those bedrooms we were 8, and then we got phones at 13. And so we would have to yell down the stairs, like yell for mom and dad to wake up. And it took forever. I'm sure my parents were glad they were able to sleep in a little bit, but that is kind of what our Christmas Eve, Christmas Day looked like. We would wake up, open gifts, and then like I said, we would go to my grandmother's for breakfast, go to church, and then go to my granny's. Now that kind of looks like we do Christmas Eve, do all of our gifts, and then on Christmas Day, we do nothing. Lucas and I just spend some time here. My mom typically has like an open house. It's kind of what I view it as, where she makes some like little snacky treats, and we're able to go over there just at leisure. Lucas's mom has also started doing that, and so that may be what our Christmas Day looks like. Last year we had just come off the project, is what we call it, and so we spent all day here. And then I think maybe we went to the hospital. One of our friends was in a really bad car accident in November of last year that left him paralyzed from the waist down, and so he was just getting moved. I think he may still have been in the ICU, so we went and visited him on Christmas Day. He is luckily, thank God, he is home and he is doing well. But that is kind of what Christmas looked like for us last year. I don't know what it's going to look like in the years to come, but right now we really enjoy being able to spend Christmas Day here with each other, with the dogs, just kind of doing treats. We will probably go visit Lucas's mom this year, and then we will probably go visit my family, just kind of whenever. It's become a lot harder to plan Christmas now that we're all starting to get married and kind of adding on different families. And so Christmas at my granny's looks different every single year. It's just kind of whenever everybody can meet. My cousin just got engaged. My mom's brother's son just got engaged. And so, I don't know, there's so many moving parts. The bigger the family, the bigger the moving parts. It feels like trying to make plans for Christmas, but that is kind of what the actual holiday days looks like for us. Going back, we used to, after we moved upstairs, we used to sleep in the playroom. We make a big pallet in the floor and sleep in the playroom. And I remember Lucas and I hadn't gotten engaged. Lucas and I did not live together before we got married. We didn't spend the night together before we got married. None of that. And so my mom was very gracious to let him spend the night with us on Christmas Eve before we got married. It was like 5 months before we got married, 6 months, whatever. And none of us slept. I mean, we're all eating snacks, all the kids' crazy Christmas stuff. We had fine-tuned it by then to get snacks and some like little hobby stuff. And so that is just what we did. My battery's about to die. Even with the new camera, good grief. That's my fault. So we used to sleep in the playroom. That is something we no longer do. We all spend the night at our own homes, which is just so very nice. And this was not like an every year Christmas tradition, but it was something that we did every once in a while. We would do the big Christmas candy making days. With my mom would have a friend over, or we would just do it with her, and we would just make all kinds of different snacks. The haystacks were always on the list. Puppy chow. My mom always made peanut butter fudge. She always made Oreo balls. We would make pretzel rods. So we've added some different things this year. But that was something we always did. We also used to go look at lights at this little park right up the road from our house. They have this beautiful light display that local businesses sponsor. And so we would go look at that. We would also go visit the Galleria. It's this mall in Birmingham that has this big carousel. And my grandmother would take us to go take pictures with Santa, I believe, and then go ride the carousel. And it was just kind of like a lunch outing for my aunt and my mom, really, and then the kids. And once we started getting older, she would give us like an allowance. She would give us our Christmas budget, and we would buy our own gifts. And that's just kind of what we did. We also always decorated for Christmas together. My mom would get the tree out. We used to have the tree. You had to place each individual branch. I love that tree. It was so beautiful. It broke one day. Just fell over and broke out of nowhere. The pole in the middle was bent. And then we also had a kid's Christmas tree. It was a 12-foot, it was huge Christmas tree. And we would put all the ornaments that we had made. So my mom had her pretty Christmas tree. And then we had our kids' Christmas tree that we would put all of our fun, like handmade ornaments on. Or like we had Disney ornaments, fun little ornaments that were us. Now she can't even decorate her tree with ornaments because of my sister's cats. But her tree is beautiful this year. She put on some red bows. Maybe I'll get a clip of that somewhere in Vlogmas. Her home is beautiful. My mom's home is beautiful. And her Christmas decorations are just so pretty. But I think that is everything. So I'm thinking that is everything on our Christmas traditions. I'm sure I'll think of something later. We would always write letters to Santa. We had an elf on the shelf, Coco, that would come visit us once we got a little bit older. It was more of my youngest sister's elf. But I know that Christmas can be very difficult for some people. It's a very difficult time of year with weird family dynamic, not weird, just difficult family dynamics. And so if Christmas is hard for you, I see you, I understand. It's just, this time of year is hard for a lot of people. And so if it's hard for you and you don't get why people love Christmas, I'm so sorry. I hope that the holidays are kind to you this year. And I hope that you can find a little bit of joy in this season. And if you can't, that's okay. But I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful for the memories and the traditions that my parents worked really hard to create for us. And I can't wait to be able one day to do that for our children. But for right now, I'm super glad and super grateful to be able to do that for Lucas and I. I just love Christmas. And so this year with Vlogmas has been no exception. I think that it has been better than most years, just to be completely honest. I mean, I have been constantly thinking about what I can do for Vlogmas, and it's really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone. It has been a lot of work, and I'm going to hopefully do a video about my thoughts on Vlogmas, but it has just been a beautiful, beautiful season so far, a beautiful month, with a lot of thought and work, but also just the ability to, I'm trying to form my words, it's still too early, the ability to do extra things like going to the Christmas market and going to the Live Nativity. I probably would not have gone and had the best time if I would have had the vlog to do, because I would have needed to stay home and clean the house or something. Our house has suffered because of Vlogmas. I'm going to work on it. Lucas has done a great job helping me he has taken on a lot of my portion of the housework. And so I will shout it from the rooftops. Lucas is so great. I'm sure you guys have seen a little glimpse if you saw my last upload of how great he is. But our house is suffering because we have been busy this week. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to quit yapping. I really need to get it together and head to work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I would love to know what your Christmas traditions are. So let me know down below if you want to, what kind of traditions you guys have. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give it a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've said that 4 times. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys. Also, let me know down below what you think about the footage, the camera situation. How's the sound? How does it look? I'm going to see it once I edit it, but I'm interested to see if you can tell a difference.